Jay here from Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm live. We're in the studio. Get involved in all the chat in the comments. Going to be discussing all the latest Manchester United news. Going to be talking about the goalkeeper situation. It feels like we do spend a lot of time chatting about Andre Onana and what is going on with him at Manchester United. We spoke about it yesterday on Off the Bar. Now it seems there's a story doing the rounds about how United could be looking for a replacement. So we'll be getting into all that. Plus we'll be talking about Marcus Rashford, what's happening with him and his future at Aston Villa. Also we'll have a little bit of an update on the Glazers. Everything's not rosy in America for them. Well, why should it be? Everyone hates them and rightly so. Plus we'll have a little story that's doing the rounds, just sort of broke about an hour ago, about I think it's Real Madrid being unhappy with Manchester City. But we'll talk about it anyway because it's just interesting, isn't it? Make sure you're hitting that like button, please, people, if you've not done so already, and give us a subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and we'll get there, man. We're nearly there. With your support, we will get there sooner rather than later. Loads of people in the chat already. Maurice Marshall, Colin Coupleditch, Heaven Soldier, Colin Trott, Goodbeat Gill, all in there. Morning, everyone. The Redogan says, good morning, Reds. Good morning to you too. Let's talk about James Trafford then. Let's talk about Andre Onana and James Trafford. Right, this has come from... So is this from Caught Offside? Yeah. So I think Gimme Sport have run this as well. And I've seen it in the Express. So it says here, Manchester United are ready to step up their interest in Burnley goalkeeper James Trafford, as both Andre Onana and Altay Bayandeh could leave this summer. The Red Devils look like they need to make a change in goal after Onana's poor form this season, particularly with 2 errors in the team's last game against Ipswich. Caught Offside understands Trafford is emerging as one of Man United's top targets, while Newcastle are also long-term admirers of the 22-year-old. Forgive me if there are any issues as well. I think there might be a few gremlins in the machine if you're watching and you're thinking, hang on, what's going on here? There's a bit of a glitch, but we should be back on now, okay. Let me know what you think about the James Trafford one. When he went to Burnley, was it like 90 million quid? And I think he played for Bolton, and he on loan, I think in League One. And he hadn't played in the Premier League. He managed to sell him for all that. But he's obviously a very talented young lad. Now, he's done well at Burnley. Newcastle are in for him for a reason. United are looking at him because we've got issues with the goalkeeping department. Now, we were talking about this yesterday, and what I was saying was, I don't know if Andre Onana is going to have a successful career at Manchester United. I'm beginning to think he won't. I said earlier on in the season or in the summer, he needs to have a big season this season. His first season, he did okay. Shocking in the Champions League, better in the league. Seems to get his act together towards sort of 2/3 or a third, I should say, into the season. Ended all right. I thought, okay, it's not been bad. It's probably a 6.5 out of 10 season, maybe a 7 if we're being kind. He needs to kick on next season. He needs to have a better season this season. And at one point, it looked like he was going to. I remember we did a video a few months ago where it was like he was the best keeper in the league, and that might sound insane after what we've seen recently, but the stats and his performances, he was up there with anyone. However, the last few weeks, he's fallen off a cliff. In fact, he's probably going further than the last few weeks. And he's now getting to the point where he just feels like he's a liability. Now, United have other issues. We need a goal scorer. We need a striker. We probably need another fullback or another wing-back. And a midfielder too, I'd say, because I don't think you can rely on Christian Eriksen or Casemiro anymore. You need to bring in reinforcements in the midfield department as well. So you look at, you go, how much of a priority is a goalkeeper? The manager may feel differently. If he's setting everyone up, the team up to play a certain way, and it's the goalkeeper that's letting you down, as a manager, you're going to get frustrated with that, and you're going to think, I can't carry on with a goalkeeper like this. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it does seem like there is a little bit of interest there, or there's a little bit of fire to that smoke when it comes to James Trafford. Admittedly, I'm not going to start saying that, Caught Offside and Gimme Sport and the Express are all super reliable, and that's like Ornstein tweeting or whatever. But you do wonder, don't you, how long Manchester United can stomach it if Onana carries on playing the way he's been playing. Get involved in the chat in the comments, let us know what you think. I saw there was a bit of a debate going on in some of the comments when it came to the goal the other day, because when I did the news, I was saying, like, I blame Dorgu and Onana, but I probably put more onus on Dorgu for that mistake that led to Ipswich's first goal. However, a lot of people were like, no, Jay, it's like, that is on the goalkeeper. That's on Onana. I know Adam McCullough was saying the same thing. So you get into this point now where I just don't think there's the faith there in this goalkeeper. I really don't. And you wonder whether Ruben Amorim is thinking the same thing. Because let's not forget as well, Ruben Amorim didn't buy him. This was a Erik ten Hag signing. He wanted Andre Onana. He knew him from his Ajax days. He'd had a good season at Inter, especially in the Champions League. comes to Manchester United, does okay. This season, though, been poor overall. Let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a shout. Harry Potter says, where's Tom Eaton at? I think he's injured. Doesn't seem to be available. We've had a couple of kids on the bench, haven't we? A couple of goalkeepers who are basically starting out. So it does seem that Tom Eaton, I presume Tom Eaton is unavailable. Santa Notch says, how much would you need to pay for Trafford? Possibly not much. I think they paid about 20 million for him, didn't they, Burnley? Was it 19 million, something like that? And I think when Newcastle were in with him, he's talking about 50 million quid. It's obviously a lot of money for a goalkeeper. Let's not forget that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Again, I don't know where the priorities lie. I don't know where the money lies. A big part of this might be how many players we can move on. Obviously, Marcus Rashford is at Villa. If he ends up getting a permanent move, that's probably 40 million quid. Looks like we're going to get about 25 million quid for Jadon Sancho. If Anthony does well at Real Betis, he started off quite well. I know he got a red card the other day, but he has done relatively well there. Well, he's done well since he started there. Let's be honest with you, despite the red card. If you can get 30 million for him, 25, 30 million, maybe, then who knows? Maybe that funds a new goalkeeper and a striker. You might have to sell someone, though, that you ideally don't want to sell. And Alejandro Garnacho seems to be the obvious candidate at the minute. A lot of people looking at Alejandro Garnacho and going, he doesn't seem great. We had a story yesterday, I think it was, about his reaction to being subbed in the Ipswich game. There's been all these rumours that he's unhappy. His body language isn't great. Napoli, I think we're in for him for around 60 million. You have to wonder, if a similar bid came in the summer, would Manchester United be tempted, especially if that helps us bring in some of the players that we need, or fill in some of the areas that we need on the pitch, such as a goalkeeper, a striker, and a wing back. I'm throwing goalkeeper in there in a minute, or it may differ. Santa Not says, Defo, how many we can move on and how much we can make on them. Akash K says 50 mil FML. If they've paid a lot of money for him, though, which they have, and he's done well there, I'm not saying he's set the world alight, but he has done well. He's been linked with other clubs. Then they're gonna want to make profit, aren't they? And he's still young. How old is James Trafford? Is he 23 or something? Let's have a look now. Sorry, I should have known this. But he's for a goalkeeper, he's very young. Let's have a look now here. My maths, I think he is 23. He's 22, sorry. It's 22. It's just whether... Is it a bit of a gamble, that, though? I mean, he's had one season in the Premier League and they got relegated. And he missed a bit of that as well. He missed 10 games that season. So, I don't know. It's a gamble, innit? But maybe that's what Manchester United needs to do. It does seem to be the new MO, doesn't it? Getting in younger players. Maybe we need to do that with goalkeeper, unless Onana can turn things around and convince the manager he's the right man for the job. Or even the manager just decides, look, I want to replace goalkeeper, but I've got other priorities. I can't do everything all at once. We're going to have to wait till another window to sort that out. Let me know in the chat and the comments. What do you think is a sort of pecking order in terms of areas we need to reinforce? Would you put striker at the top, full-back at second, or wing-back, and then goalkeeper third, or would midfielder be third? Let me know what you think. If you can sort of rank them in the terms of priority, where would a goalkeeper be? If you were to go out in the summer, if it was up to you, Manchester United to go and make some signings in the summer, how high up your list of priorities would a goalkeeper be? For me, I think a striker is essential, and I think another wing-back. I'd put goalkeeper. I'd probably put it fourth on the list. I think we need another midfielder as well. Let us know what you think. Andy P says City got rid of Trafford. Lol. Kevin Aitson says until he's 23. Yeah, he's 22 until he's 23. Akash K says, I fully agree with McCullough and Onana. He's done at United now. Paul Lucas says, we got rid of a keeper that for many seasons kept us relevant. That's how important a keeper can be. I mean, talk about De Gea there. The thing with De Gea is, I thought his last season, I actually think since 2018 he hadn't been the same De Gea. I think he went to that World Cup with Spain. He came back. There was something going on. I used to be able to count the amount of mistakes De Gea made on one hand that was about 10 years or something, about 8 years. And then it got to the point where he was making them almost every month. Now, I know he had a lot of clean sheets in his last season. I think he won the Golden Glove. But there were some big mistakes in big games as well, weren't there? And especially over the last few years, like the Chelsea Cup, FA Cup game, the Champions, the Europa League final, obviously the FA Cup final as well. There was quite a few mistakes. And I think that the bigger question for me isn't should we have kept De Gea, it's should we have got someone else other than Onana? Because you didn't have to just... Andre Onana was, 50-odd million? You could have gone and spent that on a different goalkeeper. There's goalkeepers available. Let me know what you think. NWA087 says, Jay, remember what Fergie said? Goalkeepers win your titles. Fergie knew a thing or two, didn't he, about winning titles. I'll be honest with you. If you were to look at this team, this squad, and go, who's capable of winning a title? Which players have you got? I mean, I'll be honest, there's not many, but I don't think Onana's one. I love him to prove wrong. What's the next story we've got? United frustrated. Manchester United players are reportedly frustrated with Ruben Amorim after suggesting the team's poor displays are to blame for hundreds of job cuts at Old Trafford. So he's pointed about the job cuts and he's saying, you know, you can see it has a lot to do with the lack of success on the pitch. United have, I think, laid off 200 already. Could be another 250 redundancies. Ruben Amorim mentioned it in his press conference. He was asked about it, and he said that, you know, the lack of success on the pitch. Story here doing the rounds is that United players are frustrated with or upset. Oh yeah, sorry, frustrated after he said that. The only issue with I've got this story is I think if you scratch beneath the surface, it originates from the Sun. Hashtag don't buy the Sun. I don't even trust the Sun for the date on the front of the paper, let alone the news stories, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm not really putting much weight into that story, to be really honest. I mean, maybe some of them are. It's one of those stories where it could make sense. Players go look and go, don't be blaming us for the redundancies. It's now to do with us. You've got the Glazers there who put this club in £1 billion worth of debt, and you're saying because we've just been beating off whoever, that it's our fault that people are getting laid off. I understand there might be a bit of frustration, but I don't think the Sun have broken any story there. The Mirror just got it off the Sun, so you can't trust either of them. Hit that like button, please, people. 800 people, just under 800 people watching, not even 100 likes. That is a disgrace. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. It says that Marcus Rashford is ready to overlook his dreams of playing abroad after warming to the idea of turning his loan spell with Villa permanent, and a report claims two factors, one being Emery, have influenced the Manchester United loanee's thinking. Where's this from? Team Talk. So it says Ruben Amorim made it crystal clear Rashford had no future at United after repeatedly omitting the winger from his matchday squads. Amorim believed Rashford lacked commitment and application, and a January transfer was quickly approved. Like, look, it's saying here, oh, Jesus wept. Is this come from the Sun as well? Yeah, there's a fresh update from the Sun. We will never put the Sun on that screen, by the way. I don't care where these stories originate from. We'll always get it from somewhere else. Yeah, so look, you can take it off, bro. Yeah, this again, it feels like a logical sort of story. You think that Rashford would want to stay at Villa if he's successful there. It is a big club. He might not necessarily want to go abroad, especially if the big clubs aren't coming in for him. If he's not got a bid from Barcelona, or he's been linked with PSG, I think, in the past, then maybe it is a better option for him to stay in the Premier League, stay at Aston Villa, and obviously he's only down the road from Manchester, and he's a Mancunian lad, born and bred. So that would make a lot of sense to me. We'll have to wait and see, though. We can't start counting our chickens, because he's done all right since he's gone to Aston Villa, but he's not set the world alight. I think people jump the gun a little bit, and it's like, oh, Rashford's back to his best. I think we've seen signs, but people downplay what was going on for Marcus Rashford at United. I know towards the end when he wasn't even getting the squad, obviously, that was terrible. But even when he was playing, there was always a moment from Marcus Rashford. Even when he wasn't playing well, I should say. There was always something. He was able to get you a goal or an assist or pop up with a decent ball. And that's kind of what he's been doing at Villa since he's gone there. I just think there's the sort of, maybe the expectation or the pressure isn't as much. But I was watching some of those performances and I thought, that isn't that dissimilar to what we were seeing at United this season. If you look at some of the games he played in, we saw that kind of performance. It's just his body language wasn't great. Maybe there was a bit more expectation because he's one of the senior players in, the wages he's on and all the rest of it. But I don't think Marcus Rashford has gone to Villa and all of a sudden become a completely different player. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I want to know what you guys think, because I want Marcus Rashford to do well, and I think it is time for him to move on. I really do. I think he needs to get back to his best. I don't think he's there yet, and I think a move to Aston Villa makes a lot of sense. I would love Marcus Rashford to play for Manchester United and play well for Manchester United, because he's one of my favourite players in recent years. But we've got to be honest, it's done, innit? When you've got a manager sort of calling you out and saying you've got to step up in training, and then you still don't, when you look like you'd rather be anywhere else other than playing at Old Trafford, when you step on the football pitch, it is obvious there's issues there with Marcus Rashford at United, and it's time for him to move on. The best way for him to do that is play well for Villa, get that permanent move, and United get some cash that we can invest elsewhere. Let me know what you think. Akash K disagrees. So come on, Jay, he's more effective at Villa. Also, don't forget, I still don't think he's fully match fit. Hasn't played for 2 months. I still think there's more to come. Yeah, I know he's not fully match fit, but I'm talking about the performances you've seen. I've seen him, and I think, yeah, he's done well, but his last start for United, he scored a brace. or last start in the Premier League, I think it was. He scored a brace. It's not like he didn't do anything for United. Like, he did score goals and get assists this season for Manchester United. And he's done all right at Villa. I just hope he can kick on a little bit, because I think in his last game as well, where he got beat, I think I might be misremembering, but I think he came on as sub. He was all right. So yeah, I think you've got to, let's just stop acting like this is it now. He's amazing. I want him to be. I want him to do well, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Santa Notch says, I still think he's lost his pace a bit. It might be the match fitness that Akash K referred to. CTB says, we've got bigger problems than Onana. The limited money is better allocated to other positions. That's kind of where I'm at the minute. BM says, Jay, I appreciate your dislike of the Sun, or S asterisk N. JFT 97, yeah. The Sun, anyone who knows what their coverage, if I can call it that, of Hillsborough was absolutely disgusting. I've got no time for that rag. You're right to call them out for it, and I always will do. I don't think we've ever had a Sun journalist on this channel, and certainly won't happen on my watch. Let's talk about the Buccaneers hating the Glazers. United in Focus says, Glazers slammed by Tampa Bay Buccaneers report card. So this is basically the Buccaneers have had enough of the Glazers. I think everyone hates them, don't they? So they're not like, what's this? The 2025 NFL report card. It's just like being at school. Oh, what's a report? What's this? A report card? Who does that?
It's from the players. So the players grade
the players
parts of the franchise.
Grade the franchise
in different aspects. So
in different aspects.
From locker room, canteen.
Locker room to canteen. Coaching. Harvey, who's our social media guru, he's into his NFL. Is that American football NFL, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, see. As you can tell, I am too. Big fan. Love all that. Love it when they score all the tries. Everyone hates the Glazers, that's not news. We hate them more, yeah, than you. Just woke up, have we? Oh, not won a title, or whatever it is you win. Super Bowl. What's this? I don't even know what this is. I'm worried here. Producer Ben's just put darts commentator dig. Go on then.
It's just silly that you have to apologise for it.
Right, so this is from the Mirror. I was about to say, this is from the Sun, you're all sacked. Sky Sports commentator apologises for a brutal Man United dig that will offend, offending in commas, fans. Manchester United are on the receiving end of a dig during coverage of the Premier League darts, as one of the commentators claimed they were the opponent's teams faced when they wanted to ease the pressure. Why is a darts commentator throwing shade at Manchester United?
I think it's funny what he said.
So here you are, there it is. No, is that it?
I think it's here. No.
Go on then. We got there in the end. Pike then jokes, you don't get a game against Man United thrown into the Premier League, do you? To ease the pressure. Are fans really annoyed at that? Yeah. Like, oh, is it social media again? If people started losing their mind because the darts commentator said something slightly, comical about how crap United are. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but we are. I'm sorry. I'll stick up for United all day long, you know me. I love arguing with people about Manchester United, but I'm not going to lose my mind because a darts commentator says a game against United is pretty easy, because it kind of is at the minute. I know we've just beaten Ipswich, but come on, let's get real here, people. Santa Notch says, this has got the Mirror gets Caprice's opinion vibes. Yeah, that's class, that. Was that the FA Cup one where we didn't enter the FA Cup? And the Mirror interviewed a load of people, like celebrities at the time, saying, this was in 2000 when United didn't enter the FA Cup, like, what do you make of it? And one of them was the model Caprice. And then you had like Tony Blair being interviewed, and Simon Weston, and the lottery winner. And it was like, the captions were like, it's a disgrace. They're ruining football. Like, the game's gone. Pathetic. Oh, sorry, Ali Moani. You posted this a little while ago in the super chat. Says, we need leaders. We don't have a backbone. Every position is needed, but we don't have leadership in the team. I think we do, but not enough of it. Not to be argumentative for the sake of it. I get your point. But we have got some leaders. I think Martinez is a leader, but he's injured. I think Bruno can be a leader, and I think he is a leader. I think Aaron Maguire's a leader. I think Casemiro's a leader, but he just don't play much. We just haven't got enough. We need more. We need some more players who can show a bit of that. I'm hoping some players will grow into that role as well. I'm hoping in a few years' time, Kobbie Mainoo can be one of the leaders. Not even in a few years, maybe next season. Obviously, he's got to get fit, but his maturity levels are there, his ability's there. Maybe he can be a leader for us. You can be a leader at a young age. I've seen many Manchester United players who are, in their early 20s or whatever, who are leaders. But at the minute, we are lacking it. I get it. Akash K says, Diego Leon looks like a really good prospect. Oh, Wesley Evans says, De Ligt's, great shout. De Ligt's is a leader. See, this is what I'm saying. There are some leaders on the pitch. We just need more of them. Let's talk about Manchester City. So, Cave Solicol says here, EU Commission confirms that it's received legal complaint from La Liga alleging Man City have broken European competition laws. Then it's a quote here, it says, we can confirm receipt of La Liga's submission. The Commission may examine information regarding any alleged foreign subsidies distorting the internal market in any economic sector, including sports. However, the Commission cannot comment on ongoing assessments. City strongly refute the allegations. Jesus Christ, we hear that every week, don't we? City strongly refute the allegations and point to their accounts as proof of no wrongdoing, which are a matter of public record. Are they though? Wasn't that part of the issue with the City charges? Even going back to the CAS one, was that they didn't play ball and they didn't cooperate and that they didn't give their hand their financial statements over. I'm not sure. It's just interesting, isn't it? Because it seems like there's always a little bit of drama and intrigue and stuff going on with City. We're still waiting to see what happens with these 130 charges. So maybe that there'll be some repercussions of that. I'm not holding my breath. We don't know. We'll see what happens with this. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Real Madrid are hardly, want to take the moral high ground. They just do what they want all the time, don't they? They seem to have a never-ending ability to spend money and sort of, they were one of the pioneers or the cheerleaders for the Super League debacle. So I'm not going to sort of say that Real Madrid are all holier than thou, but we know there's obvious issues with Manchester City and a lot of people are upset. I think we've got another story here that's just been added on. Rasmus Hojlund could be the make weight in Osimhen deal. I saw this doing the rounds last night. Forgive me, I should have flagged this up. So, help may be at hand in that regard, as according to Cassia Mercato, United wants to offer the player plus cash to Napoli in order to land Victor Osimhen. So, I think the deal here is, the outlet notes that the Red Devils will hand over 40 million plus Hojlund in the hope that this is of interest to the partner pay. So, we want Osimhen. They look like they want to get rid of him, don't they? He's on loan in Turkey at the minute. A deal probably could be done. He's apparently up for coming to Manchester United. Even if we haven't got Champions League football, I think. It's just, have we got the money? Rasmus Hojlund isn't having a good season. Now, the question there is this just a blip? Is this just a season, a sort of second season syndrome? Is he a player who, because he's still young, can kick on? Or do United have to cut our losses and go, look, it ain't happening. If we can get someone like Victor Osimhen in, and Hojlund is necessary to be part of that deal, so be it. I would love to see Victor Osimhen come to Manchester United. I've changed my opinion somewhat on him coming to the club, because a few weeks ago, or maybe not a few weeks ago, actually, that's nonsense. A few months ago, I was thinking, no, Osimhen, he's had a couple of seasons where he's not been as, he's maybe underwhelmed a little bit since he won the title with Napoli. But I think we need an experienced striker. We need a striker with pedigree. I keep using that word. We need a striker who can score goals and has scored goals. And has scored more than just sort of 12 and 13 goals in a season. And Victor Osimhen fits the bill. He's got a bit of that swagger to him that I'm hoping he can bring to Manchester United. Now, it might not be Victor Osimhen, it might be someone else, but whichever striker we bring in has to be someone with a bit of experience. I don't think we can just go for another up-and-coming striker, or a striker who's got 12 goals in his best ever season or whatever, or 12 league goals in his best ever season, which I think we've done a couple of times with the likes of Xerxes and Rasmus Hojlund. I think one of their best seasons in Serie A, it was like 12, 13 goals, whatever. You need someone who's got a little bit more than that. Now, Victor Osimhen does fit the bill there. If it's not Victor Osimhen, maybe we look at someone else. Jonathan David from Lille is another striker we've been linked with. He's on a free, I think, in the summer, so maybe there's a deal that could be made there. That makes sense to me. Hit that like button, please, people. I think there's a few people asking about Bruno and Keane and the comments there. We spoke about this off the bat. Keano was quite scathing in his assessment of Bruno Fernandes. Me, McCullough and Joe spoke about that. Listen, I think you can criticise Bruno Fernandes, But I still think he's a great player. I still think he's the right man for the job when it comes to the captaincy. And I still think he's our best signing post for Alex Ferguson. And I did think Keane, who is probably my favourite United player of all time, was a little bit harsh on him. I did think that. You may disagree. Go and have a look at the off the bar. Not now, though. Let's stick around here for a minute. Santa Knox says, having only one striker again next season by getting rid of our only current one is not a good move, regardless of who it is. Maybe there is a chance, though, that Chido Obi can step up. I don't know. It might be a little bit too soon for him next season. It's just frustrating that we got Xerxes as a striker and he's not a striker, is it? He said it. The manager said it. He's a 9.5 or a 10. I do worry about Hojlund. I'm looking at a player who just has completely lost his confidence. The ball's bouncing off him. He's like last season and even for his country, he was getting in the right positions a lot more. He isn't, and you can argue that the service isn't there, and I get that. But also, you've got to put some responsibility on the striker as well, because at times his movement isn't great and his touch isn't great. He hasn't scored for ages. I'm just concerned because I feel like his United career is getting away from him. Kevin Aitchison says Rasmus needs to be a second choice number 9, not first. He's too young to give up on, and he needs someone to learn from. That's a good point. I think it'd be great if he could learn from someone. The question is, can you get Osimhen and keep Hojlund and let him learn off Osimhen? Is that something that could happen? I'm not so sure. Or do you have to sell Rasmus Hojlund to bring in Victor Osimhen? It's a conundrum, innit? I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be back later on today. We've got the brew. Me and Steve, right? We're going to be doing the brew later. And it's going to be nostalgia. United are rubbish, right? We know all that. We're going to be talking about 99 and when we were mint and all that stuff, so you can check that out later. Also, as well, I think McCullough and Joe have been chatting about Joshua Zirkzee. McCullough loves Joshua Zirkzee, doesn't he? He's proper gone full Marshall FC with Joshua Zirkzee. Them two have had a little bit of a chat about that, so you can check that out as well. If you're not doing, please give us a subscribe. There you can see. Come on, let's get to 800,000 subscribers. With your support, we will get there. I'm Jay. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.